Supreme Court opened a new term today amid historically low approval ratings. A recent poll showed just 2 in 5 Americans have faith in the court. The justices are expected to hear cases on medical care for trans youth, untraceable ghost guns, and the 2024 election. Legal affairs correspondent Avajoy Burnett has more.
Day number 1 of the new term at the U.S. Supreme Court, the justices have decided they will not hear an abortion case out of the state of Texas. The root of this issue actually started a few years ago after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The Biden administration, in an attempt to find a workaround and to continue to provide abortion care, especially in emergency situations, they started to lean on this federal law, which in their reading said that hospitals that receive federal funding must be required to provide emergency stabilizing care for women who are pregnant and who may have emergencies. On the other side of this, though, there is a more conservative law in the state of Texas which said abortion should only be provided in instances where the mother's life is at risk. Because you had these different views, the Supreme Court was asked to get involved. But on Monday, the Supreme Court said they will not hear arguments in this matter. So this is a win for the state of Texas, which means their law will remain in place, and a loss for the Biden administration. We received reaction from the White House on Monday.
It is important for people to be very aware of what's at stake here. It is important for us to continue to voice what we're seeing here, women being denied care and their lives being put at risk. And so we're going to continue to fight. As you know, there's EMTALA, there's other measures that the DOJ is using to protect doctors and also women who are looking for that care.
The Biden administration is trying to pin this latest Supreme Court decision on former President Donald Trump, especially because he appointed 3 justices to the U.S. Supreme Court. But the Trump campaign, they are responding to this latest update, and they said, in part, President Trump has long been consistent in supporting the rights of states to make decisions on abortion and has been very clear that he will not sign a federal ban when he is back in the White House. President Trump also supports universal access to contraception and IVF. Let's take a look at some of the other cases the U.S. Supreme Court has agreed they will hear arguments on. For example, there is a transgender case out of the state of Tennessee, and there's a particular law in that state that wants to restrict puberty blockers and hormone therapy for young people who believe their gender does not align with their gender identity. Many legal experts believe that could be the blockbuster case of this term. There's also a ghost guns case that the justices will hear arguments on this Tuesday. This has to do with if people need to go through background checks if they're buying these ghost guns, and if these parts should also have serial numbers on them. Many folks on the other side believe that these ghost gun parts, once they're assembled, there should absolutely be background checks and serial numbers, especially when these weapons are showing up on crime scenes across the country. There's also a pornography case out of the state of Texas. Texas wants to be able to monitor who is going on these sites and ensure that they're actually over 18. And to do so, they want for people to provide their ID to ensure that children are not going on these sites. Those are just a handful of the cases the justices have already agreed to hear. But given the fact that this is an election year, there's also a possibility that new cases could pop up on their calendars. Avajoy Burnett, Scripps News, Washington.